Well, here we are, another episode of Beyond the Cap with Jeff Woytovich. That's me. And tonight, we're speaking with the one and the only Dalen Spratt from the Ghost Brothers and a whole bunch more that he's going to go over. And I think the important thing to know is he's just not a ghost guy. He's a father, he's a husband, but he also is a fashion guy too. And guess what? He had alopecia, and none of that negative stuff ever stopped him to do what he wanted to do. And he came to Alopecia Palooza, not last year, not this past year, but the year before. And he's an inspiration to everyone and one of my favorite people. And I just want to say welcome to Dalen Spratt.
Jeff, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Of course,
so,
of course.
So let me see here. So 2016, the show comes out.
Yeah.
On, what was that? On Destination
America.
Yeah, because I had Destination America as a trial thing, and then I found your show, and I'm like, wait a minute, how do I get this channel back on? So I'm trying to figure out, how do I get this back on the cable? And I finally figured it out, and then you guys went to another station.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did all that start? Like, how did you get on TV doing the Ghost Brothers?
Yeah, it's funny. At the time, Jawan and I, who's my co-star on the show, we were roommates. So we met in college, pledged the same fraternity, graduated, was working together. And we was working for BET on the Monique show. And we were working in the wardrobe department. So every single day we're watching them make television shows. And I just woke up one night in the middle of the night. Jawan was my roommate at the time. He was asleep across the hall. And one of the ghost hunting shows of the time were on TV. I didn't ever watch any of these shows, but I mean, I always knew the joke that black folks never really mess with ghosts, and the only ghost that black folks acknowledge is the Holy Ghost. So I've always had that in the back of my mind. You know, the funny joke was, in horror movies, the black people are the first one to go. Like, all these stereotypical tropes were just running through my mind because I had never seen black people doing it. And I wondered why that was. But I was more so curious, was it from a religious standpoint why black people really don't fool with the supernatural? Because, you know, a lot of people of color, they're just raised to believe that, I mean, yeah, there's really no other way to say it. Like, there are, like, you know, anything other than angels and God would be considered demonic and the devil.
Right.
Like, there's no in between. And a lot of people of color were raised like that, raised to believe that. And yeah, I couldn't find any black people that were ghost hunting. So I was just like, if I can't find any, then maybe I should do it myself, just so I can have proof of the idea. Because we never intended to be ghost hunters. We just had this idea and we needed to show people, but we couldn't find any black people doing it. So we did it once and we put it on YouTube. It was literally like a 3-minute clip. It might still be on YouTube. And that was it. We didn't get any meetings. No one cared. No one wanted to hear anything about black ghost hunting because it wasn't a thing. No one saw the value in it, and no one thought that anyone would want to watch it. And it wasn't until 5 years later, I had moved to LA, and there was a controversy going on in Hollywood where they were saying there wasn't enough representation of minorities on television. And this is when the Oscars were going on, and they ran the campaign, Oscars So White, meaning that there was no minorities being represented in the Oscars. But right after that, television networks started ushering in a wave of minority-led television. So this is when the show Blackish came out. This is the show Fresh Off the Boat with the Asian cast came out. I want to say one of the Hispanic comedians had an all Hispanic led cast. Like, all people of color were breaking through the industry with these wonderful TV shows. And we were fortunate enough to be blessed to be ushered through there with the first black cast of Ghost Hunters. And yeah, man, we've been around since 2016. And we've weathered all the ups and downs of being some of the first minorities in the field. So we've had the ups, we've had the downs, and I don't know. I think it's people ask me like, how do you deal with all the negativity that comes with it? And I was like, man, shoot, I've been dealing with it my whole life. Like even like you
Right.
said, from having alopecia at an early age. I mean, I've been getting jokes thrown at me since 7 years old. And so it's like it's nothing much you can say to me now that I ain't heard 1,000 times over. So it builds up thick skin. And so I look back at it now and I'm like, I'm grateful for all those jokes that was tossed at me, all those arguments I had trying to defend myself growing up, uh, people staring. Like it just literally made me tough for what I'm doing now. And like, yeah, nothing phases me now. Like literally
Well,
nothing.
and that's one of the things that I don't think there's anyone. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what background you have. Everybody's getting it from somewhere. I
Yep.
mean, sometimes more than others, but sometimes you just forget. Like especially with alopecia, you just think that everything that happens to you that's negative, it's only because of this or it's only
Hmm.
because of that. Well, guess what? If you got a jerk out there, the jerk's going to be a jerk no matter what it is, and they're going to find
Right.
the easiest way of getting to you. So
Right.
obviously, if you guys are the only black guys on TV and that are dealing with the paranormal,
Right.
well, obviously that's going to be the easiest for someone who's a jerk. It's going to be the easiest thing to criticize. But the the thing that you were saying earlier about like the representation,
Hmm.
the stereotype of black people and ghost was instilled in my brain by Eddie Murphy.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I forget it was a stand-up comedy show that he did, but he was basically
Hmm.
saying that you don't see black people in horror movies because in real life, if if they said get out,
Yeah.
we're getting out.
Everybody's gone.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's why the show was so refreshing to me because it was not the normal ghost hunting show. It was
Hmm.
basically you could tell you guys are friends and
Yeah.
you're joking around, but it's serious content. I mean, you guys are professional at what you're doing. You're joking around and you're getting scared, you're debunking, and you're not able to explain some stuff. And I think
Exactly.
that came across, at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That was our goal, man, was to be authentic. Like when we met with the network and the production company, it seemed like they wanted to initially position us as these professionals. And like I said, we had only done it maybe half of one time before. Like we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know any of the equipment, none of the terminology, nothing. And we told the network, like, if y'all want us to do this show, we have to be extremely honest. Like, let us come into this being the amateurs that we are and let us grow in front of the public.
right.
And that's what happened. So when people watch the first season of Ghost Brothers and we're running out and we're screaming and we're yelling and scared, like people have to realize when you're watching the very first episode of season 1 of Ghost Brothers, you're literally watching the second time in life that I had ever been ghost hunting. So it's like this all was new to us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the only saving grace for us was that we were all genuinely friends. So most TV shows, they build a cast. They meet people, they bring person A and find person B, then they go find person C. It's very rare that you have a cast of people that were friends before television. And I think that's what worked great for us is just our natural chemistry.
So you guys had the Ghost Brothers, and then you had Ghost Brothers Haunted House,
Yeah,
and then
yeah. So
and
we've
then
had a couple of different iterations of ghost hunting shows. So we've
right.
had Ghost Brothers proper, we call it. So we had 2 seasons of that. And then we had Haunted House Guests, a season of that. And then we had 2 seasons of Lights Out. And then we had 2 seasons of Fright Club.
Right.
And then now we're doing Paranormal Caught on Camera. So we
Yes.
did this past season of that. And yeah, and then we have our podcast, Urban Legends with the Ghost Brothers. That's through Travel Channel. So that's what we're doing now. We're just kind of waiting to see if there's any more opportunities for us to do more television. Everybody's kind of down right now. with
Right.
the merger. So everybody's just kind of waiting to see what's next with the genre. All the TV shows, well, the majority of the TV shows. But yeah, right now, yeah, I'm just continuing my journey on YouTube. It's just practicing and just honing my skills on my own time.
So tell me a little bit about the what you're doing on YouTube, because I think some of the stuff that you're doing there is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that all just started with me trying to work with my available reality. So I'm a script writer. I've been writing. Like math isn't my strong point. Like it's always been English. Like I was the kid that I remember senior year, I would sleep every single day in my English class. Like I would go to sleep, I would go in, put my head on the desk and go to sleep the whole class.
Yeah.
And
Well.
when we got to the end of the year, if you had a certain grade point average, you could be exempt from all your English finals. And it was like only two people in my class that were exempt. It was Kayla Lindstetter, and then it was me. And when I
Yeah.
tell you everybody was so upset, they was like, how is Dalen exempt? And he sleeps every day in this class. And the teacher was like, man, y'all just don't understand. Dalen is a beautiful writer, and his grades are excellent in my class. That's why I let him sleep, because I know he's going to get the work done.
Right.
So I say that to say English has just always been my strong point. In storytelling, when you write a script, you have to think of the bigger picture, because if you're going to actually make this movie, it's going to cost money. So yeah, you could think about, oh, I'm going to write a movie about a guy that builds a spaceship and he flies to the moon and then he's wrestling with an alien. But that, all I'm saying is, all right, man, that's graphics for a spaceship. You know what I mean? You got to get
Right.
aliens, you got to get costumes. That's $1 million movie.
Right.
So when I say available reality, I try to write around stuff that I have access to. So if I was going to write a script right now, it'd be, a guy who has a 2-year-old daughter, lives in Atlanta, and he's a ghost. Like I would write my story because it's free and I can make it
Right.
happen.
And you know the
So,
story.
and I know the story. So with Ghost Brothers this year, all the paranormal shows came to a halt while they're figuring out a merger. So with us waiting, I didn't want to just be sitting here not doing anything. So I had to go back to my available reality. What
Right.
can I do to continue my paranormal journey that's not going to cost me anything? Because
So
once people go ahead.
no, I was just going to say. So how did you come up with Graveyard Shift? I mean, like,
Right. So
where'd that come from?
I needed something that I could do that wasn't going to cost me anything.
Right.
And when people find out that I'm Dalen from the Ghost Brothers, if I'm calling a haunted location that I want to come visit and maybe shoot out on my own for YouTube, and they be like, "Oh yeah, who is this? Oh, my name's Dalen. Dalen from Ghost Brothers. Oh yeah, we can rent it out to you, $100,000."
Yeah.
Because they think because you're on TV,
Right. Right.
you got $1 million
Yeah.
budget to come do stuff. No, I don't have a television network behind me. This is me doing this out of
Right.
my own pocket. So I remember driving down the street one day, and again, available reality. I was driving past a cemetery, and I was like, huh. I wonder if I could investigate in a cemetery. And I was like, because they're free to get into, there are millions of them, so I
Right.
would never run out of an episode. And I was like, now I just got to figure out what would I do in a cemetery. And I was like, I don't have anyone helping me. I'm just here by myself. So I was like, whatever I have to do, it has to be a one-man job. I got to hold the camera. I got to record. I got to do whatever it is. I have to do it alone. And it just hit me like a can of bricks. Like, why not try to do a spirit box session? If you go to a cemetery, there's literally thousands of people resting there. Why not try to talk to somebody? And I just shot one video and I put it on YouTube and people loved it. And
Oh,
it just,
and you can tell they love it, because when I first started watching them, you had a decent amount of people looking at them, but as
yeah,
you went, it was going from a couple of hundred to like a whole bunch of hundreds, and then a couple of thousands, and
yeah,
now you're talking about tens of thousands of people are watching each of these videos, and it keeps on
yeah,
getting bigger and bigger.
yeah. People think that it happened overnight, and
No.
it didn't, because I've been trying to crack the YouTube game for probably about 2 years now. So I started off with doing cartoons. So I went on Reddit and I would find ghost stories that people wrote on Reddit. And then I had an animator animate the ghost stories, because I thought it would be cool. People would want to see cartoon ghost stories. So I put a whole bunch of them on my page. None of them got views. Then I said, all right, maybe I can do bedtime stories, like scary stories. I'm
Right.
reading them, like once upon a time and then da. I did a whole bunch of those. No views. I was like, dang, okay. Maybe I can tell stories, ghost stories that really happened to me. I tried that, Jeff. Nothing worked. It was 2 years later that I tried the cemetery videos, and literally that's what took off. In November of last year, I had 300 subscribers on YouTube. That's when I started the graveyard shift.
Right.
Now we're August of 2023. So 10 months later, no, 8 or 9 months later, 10 months later, we're at 83,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on pace to hit 100,000 subscribers in 1 year. So that was just by myself. Like, that's what felt good. Like, it's cool. Like Destination Fear, if you watch Paranormal, they're one of the hottest shows out there. It's like a cast of 4 or 5 people.
Right.
They went to YouTube, and their first 2 videos, they had over 100,000 subscribers. And I really feel like if the Ghost Brothers did that, we would too.
Yeah.
But it's hard for just one person to just step out there by themselves, trying to create a whole new idea and to gather that many supporters. So that's why I'm proud of my channel, because, man, yeah, we got 80,000 people worldwide supporting the graveyard shift. We started a movement.
Yeah, and plus it's genuine. I mean, it's you, and
Yeah,
the stuff that's going on. It's, you don't have special effects, you don't have any of this
none of
stuff. It's
that.
just, this is what it is, and it's pretty fascinating. Plus, you get to wear some really cool shirts, and
Right. Yeah, I do, man. I always wear y'all shirt. I wear y'all shirt everywhere. And
yeah.
people,
Well, we have here. Wait, just a minute. We got a new shirt coming. We're sending it out to you so that way we can replace that
love it,
red one
love it,
with the new one.
love it.
So
I'll add that
Dalen's
to the
been wearing
repertoire.
the shirt that we were handing out at Alopecia Palooza last year, and it's amazing how good that shirt looks, not just on, but on YouTube. So
Yeah.
I
literally,
said to Dalen that we have to send you a new one because we need to represent that.
yeah, I try to wear that shirt. Well, not even try. I do wear it probably once or twice a week, every week, and I wear it because it's comfortable, but I also wear it because people just stop me all the time. Like, does that say Alopecia Palooza? Yeah, it actually does, and this is what that is, and da 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 da. Everybody's always amazed. So every time I wear it on the graveyard shift, I wear it for a purpose. So people will go look it up. People will ask
I
about
definitely
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still. I mean, I've been doing this since 2004, and I'm still like a little kid every time I see somebody wearing our shirt someplace, which is just not here in Pennsylvania. So I appreciate the support. So let's go backwards. Alopecia.
Yep.
Not the negative parts of it, but when did you realize that, you know what, I'm just going to move forward doing what I want to do? Like, how did you get into fashion? How did you get there? Because you're thinking you have alopecia at one point in your life. You meet up with Juan at school, right?
Yep.
You guys start this fashion label.
Yep.
And you have a history of alopecia. And why didn't that hold you back?
Like I said, man, to be honest, I just feel like my story is a little bit different because I was okay. So I first started battling with alopecia when I was about 7. I was going to a private school in Dallas, Texas, and I was one of the few black kids at this private school. And we used to play in the sandbox every day, and then my hair started falling out. So we thought it was some type of fungus from the sandbox that was causing my hair to fall out.
Right.
Until we went to the doctor, the dermatologist, and then I was diagnosed with alopecia. So yeah, I went through the whole process, man. We went through ointments, creams, shots, all of the rigmarole that everybody else in the world went through. But I think the reason why it didn't bother me as much, and it's bad to say, but on the list of things going on at that time,
Right.
alopecia was like the third in line.
Right.
Like, not only am I dealing with alopecia, I'm dealing with being the only black kid at an all white school.
Right.
So that's a whole nother level of just stuff that a kid has to deal with. Because you're getting called all types of names, even in the first, second, and third grade. Because your kids are telling you what they hear their parents say. So they're saying words that they don't even know the meaning of. So I'm dealing with that, which made me have to defend myself all across the board. So then when the hair comes, you start trying to talk about the hair. It's like, dude, you already talked about my skin color. Like, you've already talked about this. Like, that's the least of my worries. And I had a very supportive mother that allowed me to try to do everything I could to boost my confidence. So the alopecia I had, it would be big spots of missing hair. And after a few months, one would grow back, and then another one would pop up. That would grow back, then another one would pop up. That would grow back, then another one. This is from 7 all the way through high school. But my mother would allow me to get my hair cut really low and then put a design in it to cover up the
Right.
bald spot. So all of that stuff made me have like my own unique style all through school. Like, I'm in the 8th grade with stars cut into my hair, because if it wasn't, it would be a big bald spot in my hair.
Right.
So I had the same barber. I was talking to him actually a couple weeks ago. I was like, man, Mike, bro, you really saved my life growing up, man. Just your artistic cutting. Like, you really gave me a sense of style. So you ask about fashion. I think that's where that confidence came from, because I
Yeah,
was
that's cool.
always had some cool haircut, some different to take your attention away from what was going on. And yeah, so that's kind of where we started this company, Dalen Spratt, which is a tailored men's suit line. But our bigger brand, people always ask, why do I wear these 2 revolvers on my neck? It stands for PISTOL, PISTOL, and it's people inspiring style throughout others' lives. And it's just a movement that we created back in the day, was just that everybody's unique in every which way. So just be yourself and inspire others by your style, whatever that
That's
is. You know what I
that's
mean?
awesome. Yeah.
Like, I have a young girl that I went to college with. Well, she's not a young girl. Back
Yeah.
then we were young, but she's
Yeah.
an adult
No, but
now.
that's still good to say.
Right, right. But she has a daughter who was just diagnosed with alopecia. And I think I sent you a text
Yeah.
message to introduce you to.
Yes.
But she called me crying because she didn't know. She didn't know how to deal with her daughter losing her hair that way. So we had a long conversation about it. And she talked to her daughter, and her daughter just told her she was ready for the big chop. Like, she wanted to cut it all off. Her daughter's like 12, 13. And they did. And when I tell you, this girl has started modeling, like, she's the president of her school. Like,
Yeah.
ever since she's just not cared, her confidence has just shot through the roof. And I was like, that's what it's about. Just being comfortable in your own skin and realizing it's totally cool to be different. Like, it doesn't seem like it now when you're young and everybody's trying to be the same. But trust me, when you get older, you want to be different. Being
Right.
different is what opens up the doors for opportunities. Being different is what got me a show, Ghost Hunting, on television, because there was no black people doing it. Like, being different is what allowed me to start my suit line. Because
Right.
when we were in college, everybody was wearing jeans and t-shirts. This is back when people were wearing baggy jeans,
Yeah.
baggy t-shirts. Nobody wanted to wear a suit. But what happens when you graduate college? You got to go where? A
You gotta
job
look good.
interview.
Right.
You got to go to work. You got real life responsibilities.
And
So
and and, and it's really cool that your mom, she was a pastor,
yeah,
or still is a pastor.
still is. Yeah.
So you had somebody that, when you talk about stereotypes,
Yeah.
your mother's a pastor, and here you are wanting to start doing all this stuff to your hair because of
Right.
the alopecia. She's
Yeah.
letting you do it. She's
Yep.
not thinking about the stereotype. She's letting you be
None of it.
you.
Yep.
That's instilling self-esteem in you. So now you're feeling confident. Then you get involved in other facets of fashion, and you get this suit line, and
Yep.
it your friend's daughter. It's exactly the same type of thing. It's like
Yep.
we can all find the things that are negative in our lives, because listen, we're all part of a stereotype.
Yep.
I'm short, fat, and bald, so therefore, I can make every single joke about being
Every
short,
joke that you
fat,
think
and
of.
bald. And guess what? It used to hurt my feelings. That
Yep.
doesn't hurt my feelings too much anymore, because I could be so many other things. But that's just the way it is.
Yep.
But you find something that you're good at, and you keep doing it, and then one day you just realize, my gosh, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your mom giving you that freedom to do that, and then I'm surprised that she let you do this ghost hunting stuff, because you would think, from the standpoint of being a pastor, I think a lot of times religious people don't really, like you were saying earlier, you don't want to really mess with that other side, because I
Yeah.
remember my mom saying, don't watch The Exorcist, because even people that are watching this, they're getting possessed. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
okay, I don't think I'm going to watch The Exorcist. And it took me a
Yeah.
long time to watch it before I
Yeah.
felt comfortable doing it.
Yeah. My mom, see the thing, like I said, yes, my mother is a pastor. She's been my pastor since I was in the 3rd grade. So I'm about to be 40 now. So that's how long she's been a pastor of a church.
Right.
And she's seen it all, done it all. And I've seen it all, just being the son of a pastor. Like, you got to
Right.
realize, man, we come from, it's a smaller church. So everybody. So this is every funeral my mother had to go, proceed over, every wedding she had to do, people thinking that they have demons in them, seeing them cast it out. Like, I've been watching this stuff since I was little. Like, I remember being in church at 10 and a woman coming in thinking that she was possessed, and my mother praying for her, and like it taking like 6 and 7 people to hold this woman like still. Like, I've seen this, praying for her and black stuff coming out of her. Like, I've seen stuff like this, bro. So I know this stuff is real. Like, I know the truth that my mom is telling me is real because I've seen it with my own eyes. So when I tell her that I want to do ghost hunting, I think the love as her mother superseded her being my pastor, if
Right.
that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Because like my mother's like, she's always been supportive. Like, she's the mother. If I told her I wanted to be an astronaut, she would go out and build me a spaceship. Like,
That's awesome.
She's that type of mom. So she knew that I had this idea for Ghost Brothers. She knew that I was working at getting it done. And when the opportunity came for us to really get it, she knew how far-fetched of a chance that was. Like, the chance of us becoming professional ghost hunters and getting to be the first black ghost hunters on television, we had a better chance, Jeff, making it to the NBA,
right,
or making
right.
it in the NFL. Like,
yeah, because you guys are the only ones out there.
We're the only 3 in the world,
Yeah.
Jeff, on TV. That super exceeds winning the lottery odds.
Yeah.
Like, so she knew the big deal it was, and she supported it. So she just supported me creating. But it wasn't until maybe after season 2 of the original Ghost Brothers, and I was in Dallas, and I was like, man, mama, you know why people just love Ghost Brothers so much? And she was like, why, baby? I was like, because we don't know what we're doing. And people love seeing us not know what we're doing. And she didn't even crack a smile. She looked me in my eyes and she said, you're right. Because if you truly knew what you were doing, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And she just walked out the room. Like, she didn't say anything else. She didn't smile. She didn't nothing. It was like a mic drop. And I was just like, wow. In that moment, I truly, truly knew how she felt. Like, that was Pastor Spratt coming out. That wasn't Mama no more. Mama was just proud that baby had a job and was doing something he loved and he
Right.
created something. But Pastor Spratt was like, you're dealing with some dark stuff that could genuinely have some consequences. So
Now,
all I can do is pray for you.
do you guys ever get nervous about doing some of this stuff? I mean, has there
Yeah,
ever been any
100%.
time where you go,
Jeff,
that wasn't smart?
every time, every single time. Like the other ghost hunting people, professional ghost hunters, I feel like these are people that had an interest, a calling, experience way before having a TV show.
Right.
So it's not far-fetched for them to go ghost hunting on the weekends, throughout the week, just furthering their research. Us, before I started doing the graveyard shift, we only hunted ghosts on TV and at events. So once the cameras cut off or we wasn't filming Ghost Brothers, we would go home and go back to our real life. Me and Juwan selling suits, Marcus cutting hair.
Right.
Like that's what real life is. Ghost hunting only takes a couple weeks out the year for TV. So when we come back next year for another TV show, you got to realize we ain't been ghost hunting. You know what I'm saying? So when we come back to ghost hunting, you get that same adrenaline, that same fear, that same, because you're not doing it every single day. So like, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like,
No, listen, I trust me. I stay at haunted hotels, like when I travel, when I speak at schools.
yeah,
So I'll just find a couple of haunted hotels and I'll stay.
yeah,
And I have like an EMF meter, and I have to admit that I've never been afraid, but I've also have experienced some weird stuff, but I've never let myself believe that it was actually something that was scary.
yeah,
But when I tell my kids and other people, or I show a photo or a video, they're like freaking me out because I'm thinking it wasn't as scary as it happened in real life. But now that I'm looking at it, I have no idea what direction that could have went.
right.
And that's why I'm curious about you and your buddies there. I mean, like, you're not professionals. You guys just do this because you enjoy doing it. But
Yeah.
it has to be scary sometimes, like, especially when you're looking back on something thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that because this happened and we had no idea.
Every time. I liken it to, so I'm afraid of heights, right?
Right.
I'm not afraid of it. Yes, I am. Like I can get in airplanes and stuff, but like
No, I got it. I'm afraid of
yeah,
alligators.
yeah, bro. Like
Don't ask me
heights,
why.
in my older age now, heights just do something to me. Like I would never jump out of an airplane. None of that stuff. None of that. But when I was in Brazil with some of my friends, everybody had the idea to let's go hang gliding.
Yeah.
Hang gliding is jumping off of a mountain,
Right.
holding on to a Dorito,
Yeah.
and flying to the ground.
Not even flying. You're not even flying. You're falling slowly, basically.
Slowly falling to the ground. The only reason why I did it is because all my friends did it. Kind of like your mom said, if your friend jumped off of a mountain, would you?
Yes,
Well,
I
Mom,
would.
I did. I did. So it's kind of like that with ghost hunting. When I'm with my friends, I get that artificial courage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To where it's like, I'm with Juwan and Marcus. All right, man.
Yeah.
I ain't finna look like the scary one, man. I can go in here. But you get that confidence, that adrenaline, because you're with your friends. Now take me there by myself and be like, Dalen, go into that asylum by yourself at night with the lights off and do a walkthrough. Never, never, never would I.
So is Marcus as funny as he is in real life as he is on the show? And is Juwan as quiet as he seems in real life as he is on the show? That's what I get.
Yeah. So Marcus is fun. He's a comedian in real life. So he does stand up in real life. So yeah, he's been doing stand up for years. So Marcus is hilarious in real life. And Juwan isn't quiet at all. Juwan is like Mr. Socialite. I think when he gets in uncomfortable situations, he kind of shuts down a little bit or he becomes more reserved.
Right.
But yeah, Juwan is wild in real life. Juwan's the guy that will hitchhike and hop in somebody's car and you might not see him for like you don't know what you might get with Juwan.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're married now?
I am.
and you
I
have a
am.
beautiful young daughter.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
How's that going with all your adventures? I mean, it has to be. It has to be a. I'm just thinking about when I had little kids. Sometimes it's hard because you have to do what you have to do, but then again, you don't want to be really that far away. I mean, how are you
Exactly.
dealing with that work and family dynamic?
Yeah. When the baby was, well, one, I have a wonderful wife, understanding and superwoman of a wife who takes care of our little girl like no other. So she understands my travel schedule, before we even got married, before we even had a baby. So she's always understood it. But it was times like I remember I had to go on the road like 3 days after Axel was born. So
Oh,
like I missed her first doctor's appointment. I had to do it on FaceTime because we had to go film some stuff. So it was a time where, I would be on the road 2 weeks, home 2 weeks, on the road 2 weeks. So that those first few months, it was like that. Uh, but it worked out. It worked out. It worked out. And then now with me doing the graveyard shift, I'm at home every day. So I pick up Axel from school every day, take her to school, like put her to
that's great.
bed. Like we're it I think it worked out for the best because now she's getting older and you don't want to be away from her, you know, shoot, 8 weeks at a time. Like that's a
Yeah.
lot of time. It literally takes 2 to 3 months to film a TV show. You know what I mean? On the road. So you're gone 2 weeks, you're home for a week, you're gone 3 weeks, you're home for 2 weeks. It's like that type of schedule. So it can become a lot, man. And you don't want to be away from your child. And I remember one time you start thinking differently because you're like, I'm at some of the darkest locations that I could ever imagine. And I gotta go home to my baby. Like my wife doesn't allow me to come into the house with none of the clothes that I wore. I gotta wash them. I gotta
Oh wow.
sage. I gotta holy oil. I gotta do a backflip. I gotta do any and everything I can before I get in the house and hug her and my baby when I go
Yeah.
on Go Sun.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah,
But they,
yeah.
yeah.
Because I remember one time I was in California and we have the little baby cam over my baby's bed so we can see her from the other room. But I can see it on my phone from wherever. And I remember being in LA, waking up in the middle of the night. It's like 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. And so that's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning Atlanta time. I look on the camera and it's in black and white.
Right.
I see my baby sleeping and I see this white mist
Oh,
hovering over my baby's crib. Jeff, it was a white like mist literally hovering over my child. Man, I picked up the phone. I'm calling my wife. I'm calling. She finally answers. I'm like, Stacy, go get Axel. There's something in her room. She's like, what is it? What is it? I said, it's like a white mist hovering over her crib. She was like, boy, that's the humidifier. If you don't quit calling my phone. Jeff, I was so scared, man. I just knew for sure. I felt so helpless because in my mind, I was just at home a couple days before. I was like, I done brought a demon home from the Ohio State Reformatory, and it is at my house. Like it's my fault, and I can't do anything about it. Then my wife was
well,
like, "Boy, I cut the humidifier on, man. If you don't go to bed."
well, I think the good thing though is since you have a daughter and a wife, I have daughters and wives. I
Yes,
don't think any spirit would be uh, brave enough to come home to my house because I
not with a house
guarantee you,
full of women. Not
right,
with a
they would
house full of
scare them
women.
out.
All right,
They'd be
right.
reconsidering it. It's like, wait a minute, we're not going to follow this guy home anymore.
He has enough going on in his house right
Right,
now.
exactly. Well, listen, Alopecia Palooza was great this year, but
I'm coming next
we,
year, Jeff.
I
I'm
know
coming next year,
you
man.
can always tell like the people that made an impact on some of the guests, the kids, the parents, and you're definitely one of those guys because I think one of the most popular questions of the whole 4 days was, "Hey, how come Dalen didn't show up?
Hey,
Is
man,
Dalen coming here?"
say,
So
tell them, let everybody know Man, we got fired from Ghost Brothers, Jeff. We waiting on the show to come back, man. We trying to figure life out, man.
Yeah.
We have turned upside down. But
It's
no, I
coming
will
back.
be there. I will be there for sure next year, man.
Wow.
That's something I want to put in my calendar every year out. And even if it's not Alopecia Palooza, I want to do Alopecia Palooza. But I know y'all got so many events throughout the year
Right.
just regularly. But I want to make sure
we're going to know probably in November when it's going to be and where it's going to be. I mean, I know where it's going to be. I can't tell you.
I'm there.
It's either going to be in June or in August. So
let me tell you, my wife laughs at me to this day about Alopecia Palooza because I don't know if you remember, and this is all my fault. I didn't realize Alopecia Palooza. No, it's not my fault. It's my mother's fault. It's Pastor Spratt's fault.
There you go.
For never sending me to summer camp.
Right.
So I had never been to summer camp before, so I didn't know what to expect at summer camp. But for those that have never been to summer camp, it's not a hotel experience, guys. Yeah. You got to bring your blankets, your pillows, your toothbrush, your food, your snacks, your water bottle, your sleeping bag. Ask me, out of all of those things I just named, how many of those did I bring to Alopecia Palooza? Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't go to summer camp when I was a kid either. So I think that's why I like doing them so much now, because I feel like a kid every time I'm going to them. But Jeff, I remember all my stuff now.
Jeff, you had to give me a water bottle so I could drink water that weekend, Jeff. My wife to this day asked me randomly, so when are you going camping again, Dalen? Yeah. I bet you be ready next time, Dalen. Well, no, man, it's the funniest thing ever, man. I had so much fun, but I promise you, I'm going to be prepared next year for sure.
Absolutely. And, I just want to, say thank you for the friendship. I mean, you're a great person. You got a great show. I love the YouTube. I love everything that you're doing, and I'm proud to call you my friend. And I can't wait until you get more involved with some more of the camps in Alopecia Palooza.
Yes.
So just keep on being an inspiration out there, because the stuff that you do, it really does make a difference. And the ghost stuff's pretty cool too.
Yeah. Jeff, man, you got a partner and a friend in me for life, man. Like I said, now that everything is squared away now in my life, I got all the time in the world, man, to commit, bro. So you just let me know the dates, man, and I will put them on my calendar now, because I would love to come out. And,
perfect.
Because I was looking at the pictures, man. I was like, damn, everybody came back from last year, man, except for me. Yeah. Everybody. I'm looking at the pictures. I was like, literally, everybody was there except for me. I was like, man.
We had a couple of new people, but
yeah,
that's always good. We want new people, and and it's just going to get better. Ever since COVID, everything's starting to slowly get back to normal. So hopefully next year will be 100% normal.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Probably tomorrow. Tomorrow, man. I'm going out to film a couple of shifts tomorrow, man. I want to give y'all a big shout out. Like I want to, I always wear the shirt, but I want to put your link in the description and really give you guys the shout out and call to action that you guys deserve. So I'm gonna do that this week, man, just to let people know. Because I said, every time I wear the shirt, I get messages like, oh, my granddaughter has alopecia. Thank you for just bringing awareness by wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
But it's 80,000 people worldwide, man. There's so many people connected to alopecia in our network. They just need to know that there is a family out there for them. So man, let's make it a point to keep spreading the word. I'm gonna keep spreading the word on my shifts, man.
You got it. I appreciate it.
An honorary sponsor for the shift,
and the shirt with a couple of other surprises in the mail tomorrow.
I'll take it. Yep. All right. I was about to show you my laptop, but I forgot. I'm looking at you on my laptop, but the alopecia, the cap sticker is on my laptop, so I keep it on.
All right.
Yeah, stuck on my laptop.
Well, Dalen, thank you very much for being my second guest on this podcast. We're slowly getting into this, and
love it.
We just want to tell those stories of positive reinforcement that you are not any one part of you. You are all of you. You're perfect exactly the way you are, and obviously you're perfect the way you are. And just keep on doing what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Jeff, man. I appreciate it, man. I love y'all, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, man, send me my shirt, man.
I got it. It's in the mail.
I need it.
It's in the mail.
Cool.
All right, man.
Thank you, man.
Take care of yourself.
All right.
All right. Take care.